Talia, and I'm with the Healer Collective. We represent top healers and thought leaders in the wellness space. And we're here today with Renee and Anthony. They are incredible at what they do. They're healers and channelers for 5 to 6 years. It's very rare that you have full embodied channeling in the spiritual world. So we're going to experience that and then talk about, COVID-19 and everything that's happening from a spiritual perspective. So yeah, we're really grateful to have them today, and thank you all for joining. Take it.
Yay. How is everybody? I can't see any faces.
Yeah, there's no faces, unfortunately, with this form of Zoom, but people can type in chat boxes, and we can ask, where's everyone from, and they can respond.
Okay. All right. Okay. We're sorry that we can't see faces. We're very visual that way, but that's okay. And we're seeing some names of people that we know, like Elena and Deborah. So thanks to everyone who has joined us today. Thanks to the longtime friends and supporters that we can see familiar faces, Colette as well there, and to all the newbies. So I'm Renee, and
I'm Anthony.
And do you want to just talk a little bit about so we're just going to spend a couple minutes on how our channeling is a little different, because what's going to happen is we can obviously talk about COVID-19 and the stress and the anxiety that's going on right now, but we would prefer to bring forth our guides and let them answer any questions that you may have. So that's what we thought the format would be, is to allow you guys to ask whatever questions are on your mind. And then at the end, we were going to do a healing meditation towards the end.
Okay.
Right?
So do you want to talk about more about
Yeah, speak up though so they can.
So the way we channel it's pretty unique. Renee and I are actually channelers together, except she's not feeling anything really.
Well, that's not true.
Well, it all depends. I guess it really depends, right? How much is coming through.
I don't feel what Anthony feels. That is true.
So we channel together literally because the energy is coming through Renee's crown chakra. It goes through her solar plexus into my solar plexus and then back out of the crown chakra. And it forms a 3-dimensional triangle in which our spirit guides come through and they talk and they heal that way as well.
Sorry, I think somebody needs to mute themselves.
Can you type your question, because we're not able to hear what you just said?
So sorry to interrupt the session. I'm letting everybody talk right now. We can't put the video, but everybody is able to speak their questions if that's okay. So
no problem.
You are allowed to talk. So if you have sound going on in the background, I think the default is mute. So if you want to talk, you'll have to click the red audio button. But do make sure if you're kind of in a noisy or crowded space that you keep it muted just while we're all talking if possible. So I'm going to go through the list right now and unmute everybody.
Okay, sounds good.
Very good.
And then I'm just going to add one thing to what Anthony said. The way that the energies work through us is a bit like an infinity 8. And the reason for that is literally picking up on and utilizing both the masculine energy and the divine feminine energy as a way to heal together. So they're literally combining both divine masculine and feminine together.
Right.
Yeah.
What's really interesting is that all of the energies that come through will first come through Renee and then into me. That's how it works.
Yeah, and there's no religious dogma or anything to any of this. However, I mention that only because we do indeed channel the energies of Jeshua, the energies of Miriam of Magdala, and other ancient ascended masters, if you like. So we never know who's going to come through, and that depends on who's in the room, the physical room or the virtual room in this case. So okay, I'm just looking to see if we have any questions there. So
So when I'm starting to go into channeling, when you'll see that my I'll make clicking noises in my throat. You'll hear stuff like that. You'll hear my voice or my breath really slow down. And they'll use something that anybody out there who's a yogi or yogini, it's an ujjayi breath. And you'll also hear that perhaps as well. And I'm trying to think of some other things. I'm in absolutely no pain whatsoever. It might look like it is, but it's not. And Renee will interpret most of all the essences, divine energies that are coming through us.
So you want to get started?
Yeah.
We have a shorter window.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll get started. I think, you know, a good way to get started is Anthony starts to connect to our guides. It's for all of us just to get centered and grounded and to just take a couple of deep breaths so that we're all connected here and now. And we're all present and aware of each other's energies on this call. Because there's no accidents of who showed up today. Everything is in synchronicity and alignment. So he's just connecting now. Taking a little longer than normal. I'm not sure why, but it's okay. Hi, guys.
It is always an honor and privilege to be in your presence, Agata.
Thanks, guys.
You look pretty today.
Thank you. We are in front of a Zoom call right now, together with the Healer Collective, new friends of ours that we're teaming up with. So that's Talia, and we can't see the other faces this time, but you can feel their energy.
We feel them all. You have questions?
Well, yes, there's one question that's come through the text. This is related to difficulty sleeping at night. Is there any messages around this related to what's going on in the world? COVID-19, I'm assuming, is part of that, and any suggestions on how to get some rest? So disruptive sleep at this time, does it have anything to do with the shift and also the shift in the universe too as a result of what's happening?
Difficulty sleeping. Difficulty sleeping.
Yes. Does it have anything to do with what is happening right now?
Of course it does. Yes, of course.
You can speak into the
Any difficulties sleeping is often related to anything that's increasing one's stress level. But you know that already, soul. It is nothing more than an increase of your hormones in your body. What does one do normally? What would you do normally to de-stress? What can you do to help yourself to sleep? How can you help yourself during the daytime to de-stress? It is the things that you do during the waking hours that would allow you or help you and assist you to sleep during the night. And sleeping is most important because that is when your soul is able to travel and to learn and do the things that it desires. So sleep is most important to the soul as well, not just the physical body. Does that help at all?
Well, and it's also replenishing different organs at certain times of the morning as well. So
exercise is very important, especially during these times of stress. Make sure you go out and do your walking, do your indoor yoga, do your exercises that you would normally do, but do them either inside or outside.
Yeah, getting connected to nature is a really important thing to do right now. And then also breathing. So doing different breathing exercises throughout the day, which will really get you grounded and centered.
That, of course, is true, but some people are having difficulty sitting down and breathing.
Okay, so questions. Okay, COVID-19, why is it happening now? Why is it happening to humanity? What is the purpose of it showing up? So it has its own consciousness. And so let's speak of the COVID-19 consciousness and what it's here to teach and why now.
Okay, let us break this down into simple parts. Does it have a consciousness? Does it? It does indeed. You wish to know why it is here. We have said this before and we will say it again. It is a collective consciousness of humanity that calls upon these things to give yourselves change. How can you change? How can you ascend? How can you become something more than you are? But it is through a crisis. A crisis within and on your planet is happening at this very time. We didn't call it, you did. You called it in, and as a result, you are now connecting all together, universally, as one great universal consciousness. Many more on your planet now are listening and hearing what is going on. You want to know the purpose. The purpose has always been the same as it is now, and that is to wake up. Your souls are waking up now to the true purpose of who you are as humanity, as a human species.
So when you say we, they would like to know who you are.
Who are we?
Yes. And then Mark will take your question after that.
Yes, okay, we'll explain. We will get right to the point. We are you. And you ask, who are you? You are we. We are nothing more than your ascended masters, teachers, the souls, the things that you truly are. Remember that you are first and foremost energy, a frequency. You are soul first, human second, and everything else third. So when you ask the question, who are we say unto you this, we are you as well. There is no difference between you and us. We are only in this form right now that you are seeing us. We come through Renee and we come through Anthony to give you these messages. We are not so unlike you. Not really. But we are many. We come from different realms. We are here to tell you that.
Different realms and different dimensions. So they make up hundreds, if not thousands, who come through and speak collectively as one voice. Now, sometimes what will happen is one energy will step forward and speak, like the Jeshua energy or Mary of Magdalene energy, that will come forth to speak if it's necessary, or other energies. But most of the time when it's our spirit team, it's a collective group of many that are speaking as one voice.
We are many.
Right. So let's take Mark's question, and Diane, then we'll get to you, because that's a big one, actually. So Mark, do you guys is asking, do you guys foresee this epidemic lasting longer than 6 months or more, or is there relief in sight?
We know your question. We know what you feel. We understand your sadness. But with any great process, any process in a change in one's DNA, you refer to it as an ascension process. It takes time. You wish to know time in numbers. We will tell you this. Your mark of 6 months, Earth time, is not very far off from what you are saying. By 6 months' time, you will be coming down the hill, down that bell curve into its true healing. But it will take a long time. And we apologize for the pain and suffering that you must endure for this process, this ascension process, this reconnecting process, this awakening process. It is not easy, but it is necessary for you as humanity to go through this in order to waken up. Remember, you're calling on yourselves to do this.
It's the collective consciousness of humanity that is bringing this forth. And part of it is to remind us what's important, to go inward at this time, to reflect what's going on, and to get reconnected to ourselves and to the earth. This is a huge neglect of Gaia, and there's probably many of you who already know that innately. So do you want to talk about Gaia?
We don't want you to blame yourselves. This is not a, how do you call it? A fault, a blame,
Right.
a culpability. This is nothing more than a process, a divine process at that. And in this way, you will start to understand your connectiveness to Gaia. And Gaia is all energies connected to all planets and all worlds. It is an energy that connects all of you together as one. 1 second, please.
Right. And also this allows Gaia to self-correct herself. So it's a combination of the Gaia life force energy and the collective humanity energy calling this forth so that the earth can get corrected.
That is correct. You are correct. As you are connecting to Gaia, Gaia is connected to you. There is no separation between you and her. As Gaia corrects herself, you too, as a human species, corrects itself as well. Is that good?
Yeah, no. Sure. But I think we can return to that self-correcting after because it's important. But I do want to get to Diane's question because a lot of people have been asking us that same question. People are getting laid off and
Losing their jobs, being laid off.
Yeah. And not everyone can work online.
No, that is true. What is the question?
Well, is there a reason for the difficulty prior for me, and do my guides hear me and help me? Guides always hear you, by the way. Will I get a new job soon despite the virus?
No. The new job will take time. Correct job, correct way of thinking, correct speech is nothing new. We say unto you this, we know the difficulties you are having at this time. But please, all of you, see it as divine, as a way of awakening, as a way of change, a way of literally stepping out of your box, becoming something different, something more than who you once believed you once were. But divine, truly divine, in all ways you are, all of you.
What a lot of people are going to start seeing is literally being turned upside down. So if they were in marketing for one industry, suddenly you might be in an entirely different industry doing something entirely different. It's literally a time for
you will be
washing.
changed. Yes.
Yeah.
You will be turned upside down and
inside out.
Inside out. Won't they, Gaia? And you want to know, this is the most difficult thing that you can imagine, because your entire way of thinking will change. It must change. The way you think must change. The ego can no longer exist. You must put that aside and do the work, the shadow work you call it, isn't it?
We do call it shadow work. Some people call it shadow work. Some people call it trauma.
Trauma work, shadow work, yes. And that is very difficult to do, especially during these times. But it is during these specific times that now you're able to do the work, to go inside of yourselves so that you may go out.
Okay, question regarding kids from Crisel Nelson. I know that name. I think we know that person. During these stressful times, is it more important to do schoolwork or live your life like a kid, or do the most important school of life and spend time with children? Yes. I mean, that's one of the other, this is really a wake-up call on so many levels. And it's a wake-up call for people to get the message about how we've been taking and not giving back, particularly to the planet, and also not being connected with each other. And so this is an amazing time to reconnect with children. We're hearing from groups all over the world that they're spending more time with their children than they ever have before. So, and in new ways also. Do you want to also address that?
The homework with school children, or to give it up?
Well, that's the question. Yes.
We say this unto you, do your work, your schoolwork. Retain the routines of the children, but do this as well. Become children, spend time with your children, and enjoy it, because it will end. This is a very special time where you will connect even with them through their homework. It is difficult, but it is important as well.
Another question about being laid off. Someone who's applied for 1,000 jobs.
Yes, we know. We understand. You want the answers. As we always say, you want the keys to the universe.
A lot of people
We know.
are losing jobs.
We know. We understand.
When you go inward and do the soul's journey, and you really go inward, sometimes you'll ultimately identify a purpose and doing work in a different way than you've ever done before, and getting creative about how you do it. Maybe it's starting a new business, maybe it's doing something online, but it's really that time to go inward and figure it out while we're in this transitional time.
It is easy to connect to spirit, to your spirit guides when things are going well. But it is the most difficult time when there is sickness, when you have your jobs taken away. This is the time to really now connect with your spirit guides.
Inward.
This is the time to manifest. This is the time to become one with all things and truly see all things as divine and bring in love at this time. This is the most important time to bring in your love. This is when it is needed the most.
And when you go truly inward, the process of manifestation is just so magical. Things will start showing up in ways that you can't even imagine. But it's really just getting aligned with your soul, and suddenly opportunities and things that you are aligned with will start to show up, things that you didn't expect. So I would say the most important thing for those new jobs is to not get glued to the outcome. Don't get glued to, okay, I need to have another marketing job in this particular niche. Just be open to change, be open to however my skills can best be used for my highest good and the highest good of others at this time. So when you're in that kind of alignment, different kinds of things will show up. Okay, we'll talk about healthy for a minute. I do want to get Talia's question about why the elderly, why not babies? Does this have to do with overpopulation?
That is a good question.
Yeah.
Overpopulation. With the numbers that are going to perish, even that's not going to work on the overpopulation of your planet. In the true numbers of things, very few are going to perish as a result. It appears that thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands are dying, but that's not true in comparison to the numbers that populate your planet. So, why the elderly? Why those that are sick?
And
the immune systems are low.
And not babies.
1 second, please.
Usually when they say that, they're calling forth a different energy or a group of energies to answer the question. Perhaps a different group of energies are better suited to answer that question. Yes, Mona, absolutely. Spirit is our real source. That's the whole thing about alignment and doing your work, your manifestation work. When you go inward and get aligned, suddenly your purpose will emerge in ways that you've never experienced before. And abundance will come in different ways. Maybe not the ways that you're used to receiving it initially, but it will come in different ways. Okay.
We are your galactic team here to assist you.
Hi, guys.
We are family. We are a part of you.
So this is our galactic team. I'm not sure, it's hard when I can't see everyone's faces. I know some of you are familiar with what that means. Not everybody maybe, but you could say, unlike our spirit team, who are ascended masters for the most part from the celestial realm, how they connect to Anthony is through his auric field. So we're all energy, right? We all have auric fields, and our spirit team literally plugs into his auric field, and that's how they manipulate his arms, leg, and his vocal cords. The team who is here now, who also works with us, they connect. They are actually living beings, if you like. Some are form and some are formless, from much higher dimensions than here, and they connect through our consciousness. So it's a very different way of connecting, and they have come through to answer and address some of these questions. You'll notice that Anthony's whole embodiment changes, and it's a little bit more formal and almost robotic, if you like.
Are we robotic?
The tone is not as fluid. So
we will answer the question of why do the elderly die and not the babies?
yes.
Your young ones being born at this time have a new DNA upgrade, you call it, a difference in your DNA structures. You refer to these young ones as
Indigo children.
blue children, you call them.
Some people refer to them as indigo children.
That is because they have the ability now to connect to us and to the spiritual realms in a way that the old population, elderly, do not. As a result, your elderly are passing on at this time. This was and is your plan in this realm at this time. Do you understand?
So you're saying kind of what our guides did earlier, in that it was a collective consciousness to bring this forward so that our humanity could change and get more harmonized and balanced.
We work through your DNA structures, the codes that your DNA is. During this process, the codes are changing, the DNA structures are changing, and you say, raising, upgrading your structures, and that is correct. We are your galactic team. We wish to tell all of you these things. You, as human species, come from us. We are your cousins. We are your family members, and we are here to assist you as well during this process. We are here for you. Please do not fear, but be as one with us. We will help you.
Okay, they're leaving. So they're leaving, and our spirit team will come back. Hi, guys.
You have help from everywhere, don't you, Gaia?
Indeed. So we have another question about capitalism and switching away from all that depletes resources and feeds off individual greed and breeds competition against one another. Is this part of the purpose? And what will the new system look like that's not based around these externals to survive, like jobs and money? Will it be more communal? Will money be unnecessary? Wow, man, we could do a whole session on that. We could do several hours on that one. So shifting away from something that's more individual to more communal.
Why not look towards your ancestors that occupied these lands before you did, living one with nature, living in communities, a community grid, community grids all connected together as one, not just one big conglomerate of energy as one, but connecting with separate communities as one. We are trying to tell you this. 1 second. We are trying to get you to go back a little bit, to slow down and connect with Gaia. You must now work in each community together as one in order to connect to the whole. You talk about capitalism, money. Money is, and it seems to be the main driving force behind your government here. That must change. For that, if it doesn't change, then what you are experiencing now will occur again until it does. But we are positive, and we feel that the change is beneficial, and that it will occur, and that there will be a change in your government structures as well. But it does take time. Remember, we've told you from the beginning, Renee, that it is not always about the message, but it is how it is received.
That is true. I think, Nicole, maybe you could put some links up on the Facebook page about workforce stuff, because that might get a little too deep for the purpose of what everybody wants to talk about. But yes, would love to hear your thoughts and maybe send some links for people. And let's see, do hours on this one, Mona. Yes, yes, yes. We are happy to do a whole session on that, actually. So will COVID happen again to remind us of these lessons? Well, you guys can address this, but we were told this is the first wake-up call of many. We don't get the lesson if we don't get the message. More will happen.
This is not the first wake-up call.
No,
this is just one of many. That is all.
But it is one of our gravest wake-up calls in a very long time.
Your wake-up calls come to you in different forms. Gaia will show you ways and different ways that the wake-up calls come. The more that you take from Gaia, the less you will receive. And that these wake-up calls come through you, or come to you all in what you refer to as earth changes, fires, tidal waves, storms, hurricanes, things of that nature that take the nature itself and unbalance it. This itself too is another wake-up call, except now it's affecting your humanity in a way that you haven't expected or seen in a very long time. That's all.
Some of the natural disasters that have been happening have not been a big enough wake-up call.
That is correct. But we cannot say that this is a bad thing, but it is something divine.
Trump is here as a shadow healer to bring down the system faster, ? And then also focusing on the soul and what you truly love doing.
You wish to speak to us and ask us about Trump as a president.
Well, as a shadow healer to bring the system down faster.
Let us say this, that there are souls that come to wake you up, to wake up you as a humanity. And you could say this as well. Remember, we as divine souls, as you are, there is nothing that is evil, but we just like to say that it is further from the light. If Trump, you could say, is further from the light, then say it, but we do not. We only tell you this, that that soul who is manifested into a masculine energy is here to change things, but in a way that you don't see very loving. Do you understand?
That's an understatement.
We understand.
Yes, so true. He's bringing people closer to the light by being farther from the light. Absolutely.
That is correct.
Yeah.
He shows you a unique path.
Yeah.
Like your family members sometimes.
So what about borders? Will they be closed after this?
Borders?
Yeah.
Will they be closed?
After this. I run a travel magazine as well, so I'm very on top of
only in the beginning
there
we
too.
see, but after perhaps a year of your time, we see all borders opening up again and people having a realization, an awakening.
Who are you connecting to? Who's here? Who are you connecting to? Anthony's literally in another dimension right now. What do you see?
We see it. We are the angel.
Mm.
We see it all. We know it all.
So the real
You will open up now more as human beings do as a result. We are with you too. We are the angelic realms.
Thank you, guys.
But we really don't have wings, you know.
Angelic realm is coming through collectively. Just as a way of blessing and giving energy. So they just wanted to transmit some healing energy through.
That's all. A little bit of love never hurt.
Because energy knows no borders, that's for sure.
We tell you this,
Yeah.
There is no time and space, is there? You are the time and space, so all things are connected at all times.
So, it's like this took acid, that was aligned to him. Oh, okay. Diane is asking, what about those who are aligned to Trump? Are they also far from the light? Are they part of this collective team to bring change faster?
Mm.
I also wonder too, because we haven't really talked about it in this much detail, I'm curious how, because souls have kind of agreed plans, if you like, in this particular reincarnation, in this dimension, in this time, in this timeline. So
we do not wish to tell you this, that things that are further from the light does not mean that they are evil or bad. That is only a experience. That's all. Nothing more than an experience that the soul is having at this particular time. It is neither good nor bad, but it is what it is, and that all souls are in essence divine. Do you understand? Good.
So Crisal is asking about specific types of meditations at this time.
Specific types of meditations.
At this
we
time.
enjoy the questions.
Tailor our practice in a better way to become evolved and connected, to evolve faster.
Faster.
Well, she didn't say faster. Better connect and or evolve.
Better connect and or evolve.
Yes. So specific ways of meditating differently. Intention. What you want to talk about intention?
The intention is always the most important thing. You must have the intention that you're going to connect only to the highest and the best. Always make sure that you're well grounded. Each time that you connect, remember, when you open the door to the entire universe and beyond. So always see yourself as being the highest and the best, and you connect only to God, source, or goddess, source energy, or universal consciousness.
Whatever your belief is.
Yes. We cannot tell you the best way to connect. You must figure it out yourselves. Each individual soul, each incorporation, each body, each consciousness has its own unique way of connecting to source energy. Use your woman intuition, your feminine intuition, because there you will find the most and loving power there is within you.
Everyone's going to connect and kind of ignite that acceleration process differently. So for some it may be art, for some it may be music. We're huge believers here for sound, for healing, and we use sound in almost every session now. We're always using sound. We're using it more and more and more and more. Everything, tuning forks, crystal balls, chimes.
That is why you're here, to
drums.
give that message.
Yeah.
Isn't that correct?
Yeah, because, you know, when you think about sound waves, they are frequencies. Our guides are frequencies. They're riding and they're connecting off frequencies. So a shaman drum, for example, will bring in a certain kind of energy. And you always just have to be careful what you ask to bring in, because when you're opening that portal, you know, you can play the shaman drum as much as you want, but know that you're bringing in ancestors and spirit animals, and you're bringing in a big portal.
Yes.
So, you know, every single instrument's going to be different. You know, something like this is going to bring in a whole different kind of energy versus crystal bowls, Tibetan bowls, and so forth. But, you know, just have the intention. That's the most important thing. Is what you're bringing forward.
The intention is the most important thing. That is correct.
Oh, Kristen Kirk. Okay, hang on. I think that there was one question before that I want to make sure we got, because that's an important one to address. How do we heal from this? How to stay calm and bring peace? And then also a question about plant medicines to replace pharma companies. Ugh. Pharma companies, don't even get me started. Will humans honor the earth more using her medicine, plant medicine, and medicine of the spirit and the soul instead of the chemicals compounded in labs? What? This is a whole thing for me. So I could do a whole weekend on this one. Do you want to talk about that?
What is the question? Well,
it's about whether plant medicine is going to start to surpass pharma. And also, what about microdosing of psychedelics as one other healing modality?
Let's take one question at a time.
Plant medicine and then psychedelics.
Plant medicine is nothing new to your humanity, to the human beings. It is something that you started from the very beginning. There are cultures still there out on your planet that still use the old ways, the old medicines. Let them become a bigger part now as you connect more with Gaia. Many of your pharmaceuticals already know this. They know that all the plant medicines, the vitamins and things that you do can replicate all of the medicines that have been created by your big pharma, you call it. That is true, but it is not up to us, it is up to you. Now, whether you want to take a ride in your, what do you call it? the medicines that take you.
Well, you mean like an ayahuasca journey
Yeah,
or frog medicine? There's so many different things. Yeah.
you can do that as well, but be very careful.
Because you're opening a portal again. So
Have your intentions of knowing that once you take these ayahuasca journeys, or what it is, that you have the intention that you will only be and connect to the highest and the best.
light.
That is true. Remember who you are.
And
You
true.
are light energy first.
Because there's polarities with all souls, right? So when you're doing a journey like that, make sure who you're doing the journey with is someone who is established and you can really trust. The second piece is the intention, obviously. And when you go into the polarity in your journey and that darkness, just make sure you keep focusing on the light.
That is correct.
Yeah. So, but what about microdosing of psychedelics?
Microdosing of psychedelics.
So,
You wish to take these in small amounts. We know many have done that in the past. We cannot tell you what your journey is. Only you can. If you feel that that's the way that you will open up, then do so. We do not judge. The soul judges the soul. We do not judge the soul. You decide on the path that you desire to take. There is no one teacher. You are the greatest teacher there is to yourself. Remember that. You are the goddess. You are the god. You decide on the journey that you want to take to connect to us again, or should we say to connect to you again, to wake up.
I think what is going to happen personally, at least from the timelines that we have seen and been shown, is that all of these things are going to be done hopefully in micro doses, whether it's the ayahuasca journey. It's not going to replace anything. I think it's just going to accelerate people, and they're going to remember what it was like to be on that journey and connect to source again, connect to their higher self. And then ultimately they won't need that anymore.
We will say this, that is very good, Gaia. You are correct.
Yeah, you really don't need it, but we're so many people are so far disconnected from themselves that if that is a way to get them there in a safe environment with people who are managing it in a safe environment, then great,
then
know?
Yes, do so. Be around those
Right.
who love you, who protect you. Because once you have opened the doors in that way, they will never close again.
Yeah. So just remember that, and
that will be the beginning of your opening as well.
But the key is not to get addicted to any of this stuff, but to
use it as a means to ignite
and get back to yourself. Once you're back to yourself, you're not going to need or want to go there. What can we do to shorten COVID-19? And then I definitely want to take Kristen's question, because that's, yes, okay. So let's take Kristen's question, and then we'll go back to shortening COVID-19 at the end. I have heard of theories of 5G being used as weapons, both in conjunction with COVID-19 and for future dominance of humanity. Do you see any truth in this? There are theories of 5G being fast-tracked during the COVID-19 crisis to speed the systems of control with a force of mandatory vaccines. I understand all serves the divine, whether one knows it or not, but would love your perception on the topic. Really great question.
What is the question?
Well, it's the idea that 5G is being used as, in a way, a weapon.
We will tell you this simply, that your 5G doesn't assist you in connecting to your etheric realms. It hinders it. It simply disrupts the frequencies and the patterns, the vibrational patterns which you're trying to connect to. Now you have to decide what it is and how you want to use your 5G to your advantage, and how you want to separate yourself from it when you're connecting to the higher realms. You want to know if it's a weapon. You would like to know if others are using it to try to disrupt. That is the question, isn't it?
Yeah, whether there's negative or lower, further from the
We
light
will tell you
energies.
these things. There are those in your universe, in your galaxy, that do not wish you to wake up. And your technology will accelerate so that the acceleration of your ascension slows down. If you know what we are trying to tell you. And there are people in all governments aware of these things as well. But you know that already, don't you?
No, it's a great question, and 5G is something that we've actually been talking about for about 15 years. I came out of the tech industry, and a friend of ours is one of the top analysts, if you like, tracking this stuff. So I don't know how many of you are in our Facebook group, but we can post a link to his work, because he literally gave up his job as an engineer. His wife is an MD. They only spend a portion of their time in the United States now, because 5G is so strong here. It's stronger here than other countries. So he's got all the data. He's literally in Washington doing lobbying work. He's had his life, he's been threatened. His life has been threatened many, many times by, well, I won't say by who, but let's just say by powerful forces that be. So there's a lot of evidence that's actually not new, that's been going on for about 15 years related to 5G. So I think it's so great that we bring this question up, and personally, I think we should be talking about it all the time. I don't think people believe in the dangers of it enough. They know about it, but it's not hitting home yet. It needs to hit home for all of this.
Do you have another question?
So that we make different choices. And Marin, you can vote against it in schools right now, by the way. So yes, I think the last question, because we are getting to an end here, I want to go back to Kaylee, is what can we do to shorten COVID-19? Yep, so true about the matrix. Yep, so true about the matrix. Okay, but I do want to, because Kaylee mentioned this earlier and we didn't get to her question. How do we shorten the virus?
How do you shorten the virus? What does that mean?
How do we shorten the duration, I think was the duration of, or no, just shorten COVID-19. It being an element that's affecting humanity. How do we shorten it?
Then let us tell you this. Different ways. Both your physical ways, you know how to shorten it. It is like a bunch of dominoes connecting to each other. Take one of the dominoes out, and once you take a domino out, it can't knock the other one over. That is the physical part of it. Now, the spiritual portion of it is this.
So you are saying continue with social distancing?
Of course. That is correct. But even more powerful is this. It is your intention that is even more powerful than the physical aspect of it. Because it is you who is of spirit first, giving the intention of love and the intention of your ascension process that is going to slow the process, decrease the connections, decrease the illness more than anything else. And we know this is the most difficult part. But at this time you're doing it. You're connecting with us and we with you at this very moment. And by doing that, You are raising your frequencies, and you are vibrating even faster now. And in that way, you connect to all beings, whether it is on this planet, within this solar system, or within this galaxy, or within this universe. It has an effect. And not only does it have an effect within your universe, it has an effect in all of the multiverses, realms as well, within all the realms, within all the U's, within the matrix.
So within the matrix, somebody brought that up. If you imagine in a quantum field and in a quantum thinking, that there's several, or there's countless of all of us in different dimensions. So what you do in this dimension affects all the other yous and all the other dimensions and in all the other realities.
And all the other beings as well.
That we're connected to.
That is correct.
That's kind of a, that's going pretty deep.
Cool.
I'm just saying that towards the end of a call to start getting into the quantum, to get into the quantum realities and quantum world, it's going pretty deep. But I think that we have to, what is the, Talia, do we have to be off now, or do we have time for another question or two?
We have time. We have lots of time, yes.
Okay, so it's really up to the group. We can definitely go further. Usually we go for about an hour and a half anyway. So, Lakota ceremonies.
Lakota ceremonies
Yes.
are very powerful indeed.
Yes.
They are healing ceremonies that connect both spirit.
We have Lakota on our team also, by the way, on our spirit team, so.
Together.
Yes. So if I start playing the drum now, they'll come, but we won't do that. Okay, let's see. I don't feel that I need ayahuasca anymore, right? It tears people's auric fields up, huh? Yes, agreed, actually. It's interesting because some of the closest people to us in our network, those who are, I would say, 42, 43 and under, these are the friends in our, you could say, when I say high community, I mean they've been on a spiritual path for a while. This isn't new to them. These are the people that I find are really wanting to do the frog medicine and the ayahuasca journeys, and they're going down to South America, they're going to Egypt. I just feel that that's happening a lot with sort of a younger generation. But if you're of an ancient soul and a highlight, you really don't need to be doing these things. But as our guide said, there really is no one path. So if you feel that that's part of what you need to do, you're going to get through it and then realize.
It's not the ayahuasca that tears the holes within the ethereal.
Talia, was that your question? Yeah, okay. She was saying that it tears people's auric fields. How do you want to describe it then? If it's not tearing the auric fields, but it's doing what?
It is not the ayahuasca that tears holes in your auric field. It is rather the things that are getting into it, that you allow to get in when you're on these journeys.
And you're opening the portal.
Yes, they tear the holes, but you don't.
So
but we understand.
So essentially you want your mind state to be really strong before meditation, before plant medicine, with anything you're doing to access higher frequencies. So then you're protected and you're only accessing the higher vibrations. If you do it when you're not, set and setting, as they say, right?
That is correct.
Well, and who's leading it? Who's leading it? Who's around you? Because whoever's around you, if they're opening up portals too, you have, right? They're around you. So it is obviously having the intention, but also the environment in which you're doing it.
Sure. We call them insta shamans. They study for like a weekend and
right.
Not be judgmental, but it's dangerous for society. It's dangerous for people that don't know.
Yeah, we couldn't agree more, actually. We feel the same way. but just, you know, really being of love, of divine love, and that you're only accepting energy that's coming from source or whatever that is for you. That's the most important thing before you go on a journey.
We always say this to you, be careful what you ask for, because it will come.
Let's see, activates people, you don't need it. Right, you don't need it. Is there any way, Robin Reynolds, we love you. I didn't know you were here. Yay. You know, I can't believe we can't see people, but that's okay. We feel you all. Is there any way to protect our families from 5G and overcome those who are installing it? God, I have so much info to send you guys on this.
Renee,
Yes.
you can send information on this.
Yeah, Robin, I'm going to send you a bunch of stuff, and I'll connect you to Jeremy, because literally he's one of the top authorities on it, and he's got a whole, just a beautiful free guide, you know, that can help you. You know, I'll just, to shorten it, because there are so many other questions here, I'll just say that airplane mode is your best friend. Keep your phone out of the bedroom. That's when you're sleeping, that's when your cells are regenerating at night. Anything electrical, really. Anything with electricity, your phones. I mean, you know, the worst thing you can have is a router in your bedroom. And, you know, wherever you have it placed, make sure that it's, if you can, 10 feet away from you.
There was a question that asked about how can you sleep better? Well, we tell you this, as Renee of the Earth realm has stated, take out all of the electricity from your bedroom as much as you can. Take out the televisions. The things that you need to plug in, only have a few there. Other things that you can do. We know that this is a bit uncommon, but reading is very good, and we will tell this to you as beings who are not physical at this time, but play. You and your partner play. You understand what we are saying, don't you? It is through that play that relaxes your bodies the most. And it is through your play that you are able to connect with us even easier when you play in that way.
Right there, Marlene, and that's an answer to your question about raising our frequencies.
You call it sex. We call it divine play.
But they also mean play like child play. They're always trying to get us to play like children.
That is true. Yes.
But in our bedroom, the only thing that we have is a lamp next to the bed for electricity. We have nothing else. We have nothing else in our sleeping space. So super important to get all electrical everything, you know, and get your phone out of your bedroom. Yeah.
Make it so.
Calming colors, right?
Frequencies, incenses, smells,
candles,
things that make you relax and connect at the same time. We say this to you, lower your frequency, theta, delta, so that you may raise your frequency and vibrate faster.
Sandalwood incense is amazing.
Find your goddess again.
Diane Dobson, are our loved ones that have passed together in the beyond, or do they sit on various dimensions, and are they with us now during the intensity of this virus? Oh yeah. In fact, I would go so far to say that all of your ancestors are on this call with us.
Are they now?
Are they not? I feel the energy. So why don't you talk about ancestors and deceased loved ones, and how easy it is to call them in, by the way. So easy to call them in.
What is the question?
Are those who have passed on, do they sit in various dimensions?
Now stop right there.
Okay.
Let us break the question down.
Okay.
Those that have passed on, you mean the body has died?
Yes.
Passed on. You use a funny vocabulary for that, don't they?
I do.
So we say this unto you, those that have passed on have not really died. They are actually alive, more so than you are. They are living beings. Those that have passed on are no longer who you think they are. They took on a soul, they took on a body, a corporal form.
Just for an incarnation.
Yes. Now, are they with you? Yes and no. If you call upon them, they will come to you. But they too are going on separate journeys, learning as well, doing what the soul does best. It wanders, it learns, it experiences.
And explores.
Yes, that's what you truly are.
So the soul that we have in our bodies right now is just a portion of our soul.
That is
a
correct.
very, very small portion. So there's parts of our souls that are in other bodies, even in other dimensions, even on other planets simultaneously at this time. And it's the same for obviously your deceased relatives. So if you call them forth, they will come to you, but they are also in other dimensions doing other things. Is that?
They will take on the energy that they once were so that you recognize them.
Yeah, it's kind of like accessing, those of you familiar with the Akashic Records or the Akash, they will literally have to access that timeline to reconnect to you and take on the energy that they were when they had a life with you.
That is good.
Right?
Yes.
And trying to explain it in a way that humans can understand.
You have learned a lot, haven't you, Renee?
Oh, God.
We are good teachers.
Yes, you are good teachers. And Diane, I didn't believe this before either, but 5-6 years ago, if you asked me this, I wouldn't have believed it. But you can also ask them to come to you in specific ways that work for you. Like when I play the piano, I ask my grandmother to come to me, and I ask her where to put her energy so I feel her. So it's it's kind of like manifestation. The more specific that you can get, the more you're going to feel and connect to them. So I literally say, I want to feel your energy on the right side of me while I play the piano or while I bake cookies. And that's where I feel her. So, the more specific you can get, just like manifestation, the more that you're going to feel, be able to connect and, have that kind of etheric relationship with them. Kristen Kirk, can't wait to talk to you, girl. We've not been able to connect. Is there any way you recommend to successfully resist mandatory vaccines that come to fruition? God, I hope so.
Mandatory vaccines for oneself or for children?
Well, I would imagine for both, but obviously for children, those of you who do know anything about this may know that some of these vaccines are connected to autism and other things, but
we did not say that.
No, you didn't say that exactly.
No, we only say this. You are your best own doctor. If your children must have vaccines, limit them to very small portions, 1 at a time, 2 at a time, 3, no more. Do not allow those that are doctors to tell you differently. For you as the parent, know best. Use your Gaia intuition.
Well, but she's saying, what about the mandatory ones that we can't get out of?
Mandatory, those that are, you must have. Nothing is mandatory. You have a choice what it is you want to do for yourself and for your children. If they do not let you come to a school because of your child not having a mandatory shot, then you can educate your child in a different way, can't you? Everything is virtual these days, is it not?
Yeah.
You can connect with your child in the most intimate ways now, if you choose to educate him or her in that way. Do you see the change occurring now?
In other words, we're really not forced into anything, and any reality is just the reality that we create. So if we don't want to be forced into doing something, we create a different reality.
That is correct.
And there's going to be so many people, increasing number of people who are going to support that.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is correct.
Yeah. So we're moving in that direction, thankfully. Oh, Robin, we love you too. Paul Levy. Why do I know Paul Levy? I know Paul Levy. Colette, are smart meters bad too? Oh my God, don't get me started. Oh, smart meters. Colette, I will talk to you about that offline. Insane, actually, what's been happening. So landlord refuses to remove it. So that's the first thing I did when I got into this house. I paid for it. So we paid for it. We didn't even tell the landlord, by the way. So it doesn't matter. We're paying for it. Who cares, right? So I would just say, you know, you'll pay for it.
Famous woman saying.
Who? Oh, Eleanor Roosevelt. They love it when I quote her. There are no rules, break them and ask for forgiveness later. Yeah, smart meters are, you have no idea. I'll tell you some really scary stories offline. Happy to share that with anybody else who wants them. But, you know, we also went through this in our San Francisco apartment as well. And what was astonishing is that, have you ever received a FedEx from PG&E? A FedEx letter from PG&E that you had to physically sign. This was the early days of opting out of smart meters. And for those of you who don't know, when they were first implemented, they had said that it had to be 3 feet and then 6 feet. The distance of which it was safe just kept going up, but it was in such fine print that no one read about it. And so now they're literally penalizing people by charging you more for having you know, opting out of smart meters. Opt out of smart meters, pay the extra money. It's your health. It's your health. I mean, you know, our meter is right outside of a healing room, right? And so we can't have people who are trying to heal be connected to energies like this. Opt out of it. It's your bodies. You know, that's it. Pay it. Sorry, I'm just like, there's no better answer there. Take care of your body. It's your choice.
You take care of your bodies and you take care of you.
Oh, dreams. Awareness, loved ones. God, so many amazing questions. Marlene, we're actually going to be doing an online course soon that, given the questions that you've been asking, is going to be perfect. We're going to be launching it this month, actually. And it's going to be an online course where Spirit Team comes through, and it's going to be how to connect to your guides and how to connect to, it's going to be 4 weeks, 90 minutes each week. We're going to be launching that very soon. So I think just given your questions, you would love that, actually, because that's what we're going to dive into pretty deep, and we're going to have material in between as well. So I'm just thinking that would be fun for you, given all of your questions. And we're also going to do one on dreams, Nicole, as well. ML, I don't know who ML is. Vaccines are not the cause of autism. That's why our guides came in and said, we never told you that. So one of the things that you guys may not know is that Anthony by day he still has a day job. He is a bilingual speech pathologist, and he works with kids with special needs, and you know, maybe 60–70% of his clients have autism. So he has a lot of experience with autism and dealing with autistic children for about 30 years now. So anyway, that's a whole different topic. Plan for adult mandatory are going to be like driver's licenses. Wow. So Kristen is saying that her understanding is that adult vaccines are going to be like driver's licenses, that mandatory. That's incredible. I had not heard that, Kristen, so we'll have to look into that, if that's really true or not. Linked to driver's licenses. Scary. Okay. So I think we need to wrap soon, it looks like. Yes, Crisel, there are things that you can cover smart meters with, but bottom line, just get rid of them if you can. I know for people who live in large apartment buildings, it's hard, because even if you opt out, there's going to be another one close to you. So there are different products that can help diffuse it. Black tourmaline is great. Salt lamps are great just to keep around the house in general.
Yes, and it's pretty too.
Yes. So we were going to do a meditation, but I don't think we have time. But we can do just a couple of minutes of some healing and some sitting into connected space.
Yes.
And we can just do a little healing for a couple minutes, and then I think we need to wrap here. And we're actually doing another one of these tomorrow at 11 a.m., by the way, if anyone's interested in joining. We're going to do a couple of these a week until this virus has settled, just by donation only. So we'll be doing that over the next 2 to 3 weeks. And also launching some online courses as well with channeling.
Om Shanti Shanti.
Shanti, Shanti.
May peace be with you, and may you be the peace, and give it on to others. Love is who you are, and you are always connected to us. There is no separation between us and you, for you are love, and we are love. You are the goddess, you are the God. Remember that.
Om Shanti, Shanti. We love all of you. I wish that we could see your faces, but it's okay. We feel you, and we hope to see you online again soon. I think we're doing another thing with Healer Collective next Friday at 4 or 4:30. I think
at 4:30.
Yeah.
We're going to send a recording out of this to everyone, and we'll
Okay.
have details for next week as well, and then information on your sessions with a little discount that you so kindly offered.
Yeah, we're going to offer a discount for private sessions through the Healer Collective. So if you guys want to do that, we can do that via Zoom. because they're really, like I said, distance doesn't matter.
We leave.
You can leave now. They're gonna leave now.
Thank you both so much. Thank
They're
you.
gonna leave now, but thank you everybody. And you know, I guess you'll send out details, and also we have a private Facebook group if you'd like to join that, because we post on that regularly when we do stuff. And we're going to be doing another one tomorrow at 11 a.m. Just whoever wants to come, and it's going to really just be more about asking questions and general healing. We'll do a little sound too.